Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and today I want to answer the question, why did I decide to become a full-time traveler? Well, I made that decision about 2 years before I actually did it. At that time, I was looking to retire in 2 years, and I retired at age 66 and a half. So after about a year of planning, I bought my motorhome. And then I owned it for about a year before I retired. And the day I retired, I hit the road, and I've been on the road ever since. So back when I was 64, I was asking myself, what do I want to do when I retire? Well, a lot of people just stay where they are, where they've been. And then a lot of people will move to a retirement community. And I thought about that too, but I really don't like staying in one place too long at a time. So even if I did move somewhere else, I think I would get tired of it pretty soon, whatever town or city or area I'm in. So I decided that my retirement would be a lot more fun and interesting if I were to regularly be going from one place to another and not have a home in just one place, like I always have when I've been working. I've really only lived in 4 places my whole life. I grew up in Seguin, Texas, and then when I graduated high school, I moved to Houston. I lived in Houston for 8 years, and then I lived in Salt Lake City for 15 years, and then in San Diego County, California for 24 years. And each time I moved, I was really tired of where I was and was looking for a new environment. And now, my goal in retirement is to never spend more than 1 week in one place at a time. And that may just seem crazy to most people, but for a lot of people it works. And you know, I've heard as many as around 2 million people in the U.S., and I think that includes Canada, who are full-time travelers. They don't own a home. Well, some of them own a home that they call home, but a lot of people, probably most of them, do not own any home other than their motorhome or their RV, which is my situation. I live 24 hours a day, 365 days a year in my motorhome. I don't own any other home anywhere. I don't even own a car. It's just my motorhome and my motor scooter that I have mounted on the rack on back. I've only been retired and on the road now for a little over 5 months, but I plan on doing this for the rest of my life. As long as I'm capable of driving, I'm going to continue driving. And I've always enjoyed traveling. In fact, before I retired, I had already gone on 110 vacations in my whole life, with the vacation defined as a trip of at least 5 days. And before I retired, I had already visited all 50 U.S. states, all 10 Canadian provinces, and 18 Mexican states, 20 different countries, including all 15 countries on the North American continent. And one thing that kind of bothered me about doing this is that since I've pretty much already been everywhere I want to go, it's going to be hard to find places to go, at least places that I haven't been before. But what I'm doing now is that when I'm going to a new city or area, I'm doing much more extensive touring around, spending a lot more time going to a lot more places within a city, because before I would go to a city in just 1 day, and now I try and stay another day or 2 or 3 in each town that I go visit. And as you can see from my YouTube channel, I make a video pretty much everywhere that I go. And I think the more I keep moving, the more active that I stay, the more I'm going to enjoy retirement, and maybe even the longer that I live. If I was just stuck in one place all year long, then I know I would get really tired of that really quick. And they say that when a person doesn't have a lot to do, they tend to just kind of lose the feel of living and even die younger because they just feel like they just got nothing else to do in life. But I can always find new places to go. For these 5 months, I have been traveling pretty much just around Texas and Arkansas, and then I went to Branson, Missouri once. I have one more trip to take through West Texas, going to spend about a week in Big Bend National Park, El Paso, and then I'm going to spend about a month in Arizona, and then a month in Baja, Mexico, and then work my way back to Texas, and then in May of 2018, I'm planning a 4-month trip, starting in New Orleans, following along the Mississippi River from the mouth, Gulf of Mexico, to where the river starts at Lake Itasca, Minnesota. From there, I'm going up into Canada and diagonally up into Alaska. And then I have several more trips already planned out where I want to go across the country. So it's going to be years before I'll feel like I've pretty much been everywhere. And then probably will just go back to some of my favorite places. So basically, I feel that being a full-time traveler makes for a much more fun and active retirement than just living in the same place every day of the year. It's different for everybody. Most people couldn't stand living in a motorhome full-time. They got to have a big house, and that's fine. Whatever works for each individual is fine for them as long as they're happy with it and it's sustaining their livelihood. So if you're getting up towards your 60s, you might want to start thinking about when you're going to retire and what you're going to do when you retire, where you're going to live, what you're going to be doing. Pre-plan your retirement. And you might want to take my advice, don't wait too late. I retired at 66. I know a lot of people in my industry, which was accounting and tax preparation, who still worked into the mid-70s, and they die right on their desk, right in the middle of tax season. I had a couple friends who did that. They save up a bunch of money for retirement, and then they never retire. They die before they have a chance to, or they die before they choose to. So I didn't want that to be my fate. So I lived very modestly for decades, and I decided to save up my money and just work hard, save as much as I can, so that when I retire, I can completely give up working. And let me tell you, I plan to never ever work another day in my life. And I really like that. So think about what's going to work for you in retirement. And like I said, take my advice and don't wait too late. You might think, I can work until I'm 70. Well, sure you can, but you may find that, you could die when you're 71, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, and you may end up having a much shorter retirement than you would like to. I know people have different situations where they can't afford to retire, or their health makes them not able to do much traveling. There are all sorts of individual situations. I'm just telling you what mine is, and that I've been very happy with it, and that's what I would recommend for a lot of people. Good day, folks.